Hey guys, how you doing? So it's been a while since the last review, and it's because I have to be in the mood to review a fragrance, and it helps when I get really excited about a scent. But I haven't had a scent like that since Amouage Gold, which was my last review. Now the one coming today is not quite at that level for my taste, but it's one that I eyed for a while, and we're talking about L'Artisan Parfumeur's Timbuktu. I saw it sort of as a very unique, potentially, signature-worthy kind of scent. And also it has a really nice note breakdown with some notes that you haven't seen before. So that's what got me into the scent. And I finally tested it. I got this sort of sample box from L'Artisan. And I think I ordered it from Joma Shop. So it comes with, here, you won't see it. So I'll tell you, this set is the Oriental kind of collection because it best fit what I wanted to try out from the house. And so it has Timbuktu, Al Oud, and L'Eau d'Ambre Extreme, and Noir Exquise, or however you pronounce that. But I was most interested in Timbuktu and Noir Exquise, which is a bit like Maison Margiela's By the Fireplace. But I've been testing Timbuktu, and it was one that I gotta admit was hard to review because the scent definitely is different and a little bit exotic. So when you look at the notes on the official website, at least nowadays, they only list 3 notes, which are red berries, incense, and vetiver. And when you look on Fragrantica, it's very different with a lot more notes. But the ones that stand out are things like green mango. It still has incense and vetiver. And then papyrus and Caro Carunde flower. So I think those 3 notes, papyrus, green mango, Caro Carunde flower, I have no idea, what they're supposed to smell like. So I'll tell you what I get based on notes that might be more familiar to all of us. So this is a fragrance, by the way, by Bertrand Duchaufour. And I can tell, after sort of knowing that fact, that his style is in here. So he's done fragrances like Amouage's Jubilation 25. And he's a master in, people say, incense. And for me, kind of mixing a kind of bitter, smoky incense with a fruity accord and creating this unusual lightness to an otherwise resinous fragrance is what he tends to do best. So it's the same deal here. Now, in the opening, and it's a dabber little bottle, by the way, cute, but not very practical. So in the opening, you will notice quite a bit of fruitiness and a little bit of sweetness. So instead of green mango, I would never have thought of that. What I get is it's a little bit like green apple, like a freshly sliced green apple, except that I think it's a green apple from my imagination and not the actual apple because it's not sour. It's not a sour smell. In fact, maybe it's more like just an apple. But also there's a kind of aquatic feel to the fragrance that reminds me, the more I think about it, a little bit of watermelon as well. And I think the reason is it has this aquatic feel, but then it also has an overall greenness, which we'll talk about a little bit more. And so, you get this, the same way with the watermelon, you have that transition from the fresh part, red part, to the kind of bitter, just vegetal greenness, right? You get a similar kind of contrast here. And this is a fragrance that is built on contrast. And that's what makes it very intriguing. But I will say up front that it's not a fragrance that I probably would get a full bottle of and that I see as a fragrance I wear, but more sort of something that you want to smell because it's interesting. So pretty quickly from the fruity sweet smell, it transitions into something dirtier. So you start to get more earthy notes And to me, I get kind of this mixture of, it's like smelling soil, and then also woods as well. So this kind of dirty woody smell, and also the woody smell is smoky. So of course, you have incense listed as a note, but this kind of smoky woody note is not too different to me from something like gaiac wood or even oud. It sort of has that feel of oud, but not quite as intense, not quite as rich, but still has a similar sort of inkiness because of this earthiness mixing with the woody smell. So I think that is because this fragrance plays on the really grassy, dry, and slightly bitter, smoky aspects of vetiver. So you have that vetiver smell with that's creating, I think, most of the earthy woodiness. But the reason I get this picture in my mind of like a campfire, a burning campfire, right, with smoke, is because it's the vetiver, but then you have this incense, like a very clean incense. And it's almost as if it's so clean, in fact, that it's like smelling a lot of fragrances that use geranium. So there's this, not soapy, but a floral, clean, slightly watery, airy feel to the fragrance. But then that's how you kind of feel the fragrance, but the smell itself, there is still this bitter, inky, dirty, sort of woody smell. Now I realize we didn't even talk about the inspiration or backstory of this fragrance. So Timbuktu, I think, is an amazing name. That's what drew me to the fragrance. Now in our language, that word is used as a metaphor, right, to kind of refer to faraway places, extremely far and remote. And where the word comes from is, it's actually was a city or town in West Africa, and it had its glory days. So there was this kind of golden age at one point, and I'd have to go back and look to see when that actually was. But it was sort of famous for ivory and gold and so on. So in Western culture, this word Timbuktu got kind of idealized as this very, or it was mystified, let's say, right? And used a lot in novels and such. So that's how it kind of came into our language. And I gotta say, the smell does match the kind of mystical aspect of the name. So it has this, it does smell exotic. It's the Bertrand Duchaufour says, this was inspired by his travels to Mali, and a particular perfume ritual that they have there, traditional perfume ritual. I forget the name of that, but he was inspired by that. And while I do get this kind of African prairie image from the smell, from the dry, grassy smell with a little bit of fruitiness, and just it's almost like you're getting a breeze with it as well. You could think of this as also a kind of rainforest, right? Because I described this kind of very fresh, aquatic sort of feel and smell, and a little bit dewy, right? So floral and leafy, and there's this greenness that's pervasive with this fragrance. So it's dry and smoky and resinous, yet light and airy at the same time. And like I said, it's a fragrance that really shines because of this contrast. But that makes it a little bit exotic, a little bit, or unlike any other, scent. It's definitely not mainstream, and so I'm not drawn to it as something to wear. I have tested it quite a while, at least 2 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks. So, it's coming from that amount of kind of use. Kind of referring to my thumbnail, I had really high expectations of this scent, but it's not quite wearable. It's wearable in the sense that it's light and non-offensive, but it is very, very faint. It ends up into kind of a skin scent pretty quickly. And it also it's not so wearable for me because it's more of an exotic kind of smell, exotic kind of green smell. So anyway, that's my take on L'Artisan's Timbuktu. Let me know if you've tried the scent, and I'll see you in the next review. Bye.